So, welcome guys. So in the last section, we have discussed about how we can deal with the single dimension array and multiple dimension array as well as in two-dimension array. So before going to this predefined functions, these are the most important functions in NumPy, this random, rand int, rand n, as well as rand n, and different types of functions are there. We will see one by one. So before going into the functions, I will tell you again how the NumPy will work with the one-dimension array, two-dimension array, as well as three-dimension array, as well as the syntax also. So what I'm doing here is I'm just writing the syntax here. Okay. So suppose first of all we need to deploy install an array. So from NumPy we are importing, yes or no? I'm importing NumPy as NP here. So if I want to access, I told you yesterday the list will be in the format of a is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is nothing but a list. If you want to print what is the type, just you can print type of a, it gives the answer is nothing but a list format. But I told you yesterday list cannot be an array. Okay, it can't be an array. But what we will do, we will take this list and with the help of this list we can prove array. Okay, there is a lot of differences there. We will take the help of array and we can prove how we can implement the one-dimension array, two-dimension array, and three-dimension array. Okay, we will see that how we can implement each and everything. Suppose for example, I am discussing about 1D array. Okay, suppose I am discussing for 1D array. What I will do, I am importing NumPy here as NP. So instead of passing NP, you can also pass AS, whatever it may be, doesn't matter. So instead of taking NP, now we will take another variable. Then you will have a clear idea. Suppose I am taking as an A. Yes, suppose. What I will do, I will take a variable A, AS dot array of, if I open the parenthesis and square bracket 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I close this, and if you want to find out the dimensions, nothing but a dot ndim. It shows the dimension. So it belongs to, it is having only one row, so it belongs to one dimension array. So in the same manner, if you want to find out the two dimension array, I already told you in the yesterday section. So importing NumPy, suppose a is equal to np dot just pass an array value, and if I open parenthesis 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose these are the values I am taking. If you print this, definitely it is going to get you an error. Why? Because I am not passing inside another list. This specifies that this belongs to two-dimension array. If you want to print out the dimensions, type a dot ndim. Okay. In the same way, if you want to find out the three dimensions, just np dot array of, just open parenthesis, and inside that pass three list 1, 2, 3, and I am passing suppose 4, 5, 6, and I am passing 6, 7, 8. Okay, and I am closing it. There are three open brackets here. One is completed and another two also I am specifying. So if you want to print this dimension, say dot ndim, it will give you 3D array. This and all yesterday we seen. Now in this section we will discuss about the some of the predefined functions here. Okay, some of the predefined functions. So I am going to my Jupyter notebook. So see here, one of the best example is important function is nothing but a random. Okay, so suppose I am importing. Before going it, I need to import the NumPy. First of all, what I am doing here is, and if I execute it, it executed successfully. So what I am doing here, listen carefully. So np dot random, I am using the random keyword and rand integer 10 to 15. So what do you mean by this random is it will select the random value. The purpose of using random is nothing but a random value. How we can select the random value? What do you mean by random value is, suppose from 0 to any positive number or negative number, it doesn't matter. So it will select some random value. Suppose if we consider some 0 to any positive value, which means 0 to infinity, any positive value I can take, suppose 128 to 192, whatever it may be. It is a positive value and ranging between 0 to infinity. So some random value will be selected. This is known as selecting random value. Okay, random value. With the help of the code implementation, we will see how we can select the random value. Suppose I am going here np.random and what I am doing, I am passing another function is nothing but rand int. What is mean by integer means you all know integer is nothing but a single value. Suppose with a clear explanation, suppose if I pass a is equal to 1 and if I want to find out the type of a, just execute it, it will show you the integer. So it is holding only one value. So what do you mean by this? From 10 to 50, it will select one random value. I am passing the range here. I am not passing from 0 to infinity. I am passing from 10 to 50, select one random value. Suppose if I execute this command again, see another random value is selecting. Suppose if I execute it again, 140 is selecting. So it just select the random value. Okay, there is no use of this function. So this three functions work similar. So instead of passing here integer, I am just passing rand, just keyword random.rand. What do you mean by here random.rand means it will say it 3 means 3 rows. See here 3 rows is selected and 4 means 4 columns. Some random values will be selected. Okay, so I am selecting the random and I am passing rand keyword. And what do you mean by these parameters? Suppose 3 belongs to and rows, 3 rows has been selected and 4 belongs to columns. Okay, 3 rows and 4 columns will be selected, some random values will be selected. So here also if you observe very carefully what it is going to do, I am selecting the random keyword rand n and I am passing 3, 4. See here very carefully, 3 rows has been selected and 4 columns has been selected. If you observe here, the difference between the rand and rand n is nothing but this rand n will completely follow the standard deviation concept. So when we are discussing the statistics, you will have a clear idea. Standard deviation. You all know about standard deviation. We have studied this in intermediate. So again, I'm going to tell you very clearly. Suppose I'm taking the standard deviation. Suppose this is the standard deviation I'm taking. So I'm considering this is the mean position, and you all know standard deviation is equal to 1, standard deviation is equal to 2, and standard deviation is equal to 3. So in the same manner, in the negative side, -1, -2, and -3. So between this range, it will select some random values. Okay. If you observe here, in the rand keyword, it is only selecting some random values, 3 rows and 4 columns, depending upon the parameters what we are passing. But here, what it is going to do, if you observe here very carefully, so 0 is selecting and -1 is selecting, -0 is selecting, like that. So it completely based upon this standard deviation. Okay. If I execute these values again, suppose if I execute this column again, the values will be changed. See, the values is been changed. Before that there is no 2, but now it is giving 2. Why it is giving -2? See here, it goes here in this position, it goes. From here it is selecting random value. Initially it select from +1 to -1. Now it is going to select from -2, like that. Okay. So rand keyword completely based upon rand and keyword completely based upon standard deviation. Okay. See, if you want to theoretical explanation here, see rand function creates an array of specified shape and fills it with the random values as per standard deviation. Okay. So it completely follows standard deviation. If you want to complete explanation of standard deviation, what we will do is when we are discussing about the statistical concepts, you will have a clear idea about the standard deviation. Okay. Don't worry, we will discuss it later. So here is one of the best example. I am selecting the random keyword as well as an again random. So I am passing 2 parameters. This 5 is for nothing but rows. 5 rows has been selected, and this 4 is nothing but columns. See, 4 columns has been selected. 5 rows and 4 columns. Same random values will be selected. So the purpose of these 4 commands, int means it will only select the one integer value. Suppose if I execute this command again, see another integer value has been selected between the range. Here rand keyword, what it will do? 3 rows and 4 columns it will be selected. Here also what it is going to do, 3 rows and 4 columns it is going to be selected, but it works with the help of standard deviation. Here also 5 rows and 4 columns will be selected, some random values will be selected. In the name itself we are having this is nothing but a random. Here also random and here also random. Okay, so this is how we can implement the random statements. Okay, I will just clean it. What is the next function here is, see, square root. Okay, so if you want to prove the square root in intermediate, what we have to do, what we did, suppose square root of 20. What is the square root of 20? Some value will be specified. Okay, suppose what is the square root of 25? It is nothing but 5 only, because 5 into 5 it is nothing but 25. So in this manner, we can find out the square root with the help of a function known as square of some value. If I pass this square root of 20, it will give me some other particular square root value. Okay. See here, I am passing np dot. This np is nothing but a function, numpy library, and I am passing a square root function. I am passing 120. So what is the square root for 120? If I execute it, see 10.95. Suppose if I take another cell here, suppose I am passing np dot. What I am doing? I'm passing the square root. I am passing 25. So if I execute it, see the square root is 5. I already told you here the square root of 5 is nothing but 5 into 5 is 25. Okay. Now here what I am doing here, same. I am passing a list here. So if you want a theoretical stuff, what we will do is I will take a list here. A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I am doing here is I am applying square root for each and everything. A dot square root I am applying. Otherwise what we will do is square root of A I am applying. So what it is going to do? It is going to find out the square root of 1. It is going to find out the square root of 2 and 3 as well as 4. Okay. If you observe here in this task, see I am passing 2, 4, 5 and 67. And I am applying square root. What is the square root for 4? It is nothing but 2. See the output. If I execute it, see the square root for 2 is nothing but 1.41, and the square root for 4 is 2. The square root for 5 is this value. The square root for 67 is this particular value, 8.18. Okay. So in the same way, if we want to find out the sine values, okay, we all know about the sine, cos, tan, cot, everything. Okay. Sine, cos, tan, cot, secant and cosecant. Okay, this and all we are discussed in intermediate. Okay. Okay, if you want to find out the value, cos value, directly you can pass here. Suppose if I open here, if I pass A is equal to some value 1, and what I'm doing here is np dot, I'm passing, I want to find out the sine positions of A. So if I execute it, see the sine value according to the trigonometry, this completely belongs to the trigonometry part. Okay, according to the trigonometry, the sine value of A is, the sine value of 1 is nothing but 0.84. So in the same way we can find out the cos value also, and for tan, cot, everything we can find out. Initially I just did with the help of sine, cos, we did with the tan, cot, everything. Okay, we just give the cos values as well as the sine values, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here what I am doing, again I am just arranging. Yesterday we have seen this very carefully. Arrange function works with the help of n-1 category, and I am passing from 1 to 61. So it will select from 1 to 60. See, it is going to select from 1 to 60, but I am reshaping it 10, 6. I told you yesterday 10 into 6 is nothing but 60. So 10, 6, it is going to print 10 rows. See, it is going to select the 10 rows and 6 columns it is going to select. So if you want a clear explanation here also with the help of another example, I am passing an arrange function. Now what I am doing here, from 61 to 121, I am printing and I am reshaping it. So if you observe from 61 to 121, how many values will be there? 60 values will be there. Okay, 60 values will be there. I am just reshaping them into 10 rows and 6 columns. Okay, so if you print B, this command will be executed. So why I did these two commands here means, again, for arranging from 1 to 60 as well as an 61 to 120, this is the most important technique here. They are known as an V stack and H stack. Okay, this is the most important, the V stack and H stack. Now what I am doing here is I am importing NumPy library dot V stack. V stack is nothing but an vertical stack. I am passing A comma B here. What do you mean by A here? A is nothing but the values from 1 to 60, and B is nothing but for values from 61 to 120. So what I'm doing here is I'm applying V stack of A comma B. So what it is going to do, if I print V stack here, see from 1 to 60 it is selecting. Vertical it is also joining 61 to 120. Okay. See this 1 to 60 as well as in this 61 to 120, both are getting combined here. Okay. This is known as a vertical stack. There is another technique known as an H stack here. So what is H stack is doing, if you observe very carefully, initially it just combined below 1 to 60 and again it started below 61 to 120. So in H stack what it will do is, instead of selecting in the below, it will select on the right side. So if I import H stack and if I print A comma B, what it is going to do, so see here from 1 to some value, 68th position value, it will be selected. So I will tell you, see, these columns, this 1 to 6 and 7 to 9, sorry, 7 to 12, 31 to 36. If you observe here, 55 to 60. So this particular till here, it is known as an V stack values. Okay, A values. From this 61 to 120 is the B values. So if you observe here, the V stack is working step by step. 1 to 60 it is printed. After that, from 61 to 120 it has been selected. But here what it is going to do, till 60 it will select. After that, on the right side it will select from 61 to 120. Okay, this is the major difference between the V stack and H stack. Okay, here then few functions are there, the basic functions. Suppose if I am passing the list here, I want to find out the sum. What do you mean by sum here? Very simple. Suppose if I am passing here a list, A is equal to 1 comma 2. Suppose if I am passing A is equal to 1 comma 2. So in this 1 comma 2, what will be the sum? Suppose if I pass sum of A, what do you mean by sum here? 1 plus 2 is nothing but 3. Okay, this is how the sum function works. Whatever the values inside the list, we are going to sum it. See, suppose if I am commenting it, I am also commenting this one also. Suppose if I am passing A is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 4 5 5 and I am summing it. So what will be the value? 1 plus 2 is nothing but 3 and 3 plus 3 6, 6 plus 4 10, 10 plus 5 15 and 15 plus 5 20. If I execute it, see 20 has been selected successfully. Now if I want to find out in this array, in this list, I want to find out the maximum value. So what is the maximum value here? Suppose here I will take another cell, A dot. Suppose instead of passing here like that, I'm just passing max of A. So see, what is the maximum value in the A position? The maximum value is nothing but 5. Okay, the largest value, maximum is nothing but the largest value. Suppose if I want to find out the minimum value, I'm passing min of A, and if I execute it, see, 1 is the minimum value. This is how the sum function and max function and min function will get work. So this is the most important diagonal topic, diagonal function. So what it is going to do, I'm importing numpy here, np dot diag, which means diagonal. What do you mean by diagonal here? Suppose diagonal means if I am having an array here, suppose this is an array I'm taking. Suppose in this array I'm passing one value, suppose 1 0 0. Suppose 3-dimensional array I'm passing and 0 1 0 0 0 8. Suppose I'm passing like this. So in this 3 into 3, in this 3 into 3 matrix, I'm asking what is the diagonal values. Diagonals are nothing but these particular values. These particular values are known as an diagonal values. So in this 3 into 3 matrix, what are the diagonal values? 1 1 and 8. Okay, this is also one diagonal, this is also one diagonal. Initially the default diagonal will be selected here. Okay, I will tell you with the help of a coding. So if I open it, see, np dot diagonal, and I am passing 1 2 3 4 and I am printing this A variable. See, on the diagonal side, 1 2 3 4, wherever it is diagonal, these values are being printing there. Okay, 1 is printing, 2 is printing, 3 is printing, and 4 is printing. This is the purpose of using diagonal. Now what I'm going to do here is, observe very carefully, I'm taking a numpy and I'm passing an array function. Inside array I'm passing 2 into 2 dimension array, 2-dimension array. I'm printing it. If I execute it, see, this is the 2 into 2 dimension array. So what we are doing here is ravel function. What is the purpose of using this ravel function? Okay, so listen very carefully. We are discussing about different type of functions. What we have discussed till now, V stack we have discussed, function we have discussed, sum is one of the function, maximum is one of the function, minimum is one of the function, as well as diag. Diag is nothing but a diagonal function. Okay, diagonal function also we have discussed. There is another function, most important function, that is nothing but ravel. Okay, this ravel function. What is the ravel function is going to do? So in A we are having 2 into 2 dimensional. Suppose if you want to find out the dimensions here, A dot, I am passing ndim, and if I execute it, it is going to show you the 2 dimension. See, it is going to show you the 2 dimensions. If I want to print the array, I will just pass a print function here. So if I execute it, see, this is an array and it is going to show me the dimensions. So what I'm doing here is A dot ravel. Ravel means ravel changes 2D array to 1D array. So A is the function. So in this variable, I am having 2-dimension array. So I'm passing a dot travel. I'm saving in a variable and I'm printing a. See, this 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, this 4, 5, 5, 7 has been connected here. So this everything converted to one-dimensional array. Before the A is nothing but a two-dimensional array. Now it converted to one-dimensional array. Suppose if I want to find out the dimension here itself, if I execute it, see the two-dimensional array is converted to one-dimensional array. If you want to print the function, just to type on the print function AA. Okay. So Ravel function is used to convert two-dimensional array into one-dimensional array like that. Okay. This and all everything. So this is one of the most important function, transpose function. Okay. Transpose means what? Suppose this is, we know everything about A here. In A we are having this two-dimensional array. So in this two-dimension array, I want to apply transpose matrix. What do you mean by transpose here? Suppose if I am having a array here. So instead of taking a list, what I will do is I'll just tell you about the transpose function. This transpose function will convert the rows into columns and columns into rows. Okay. Suppose I'm taking the transpose function. I'll tell you about transpose function. Suppose I'm taking here 3 into 3 matrix. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and taking 10, 11, 12. Now I'm saving this array in a variable known as an A, suppose. So if I want to apply the transpose here, what after applying the transpose, this is before applying, and I will tell you after applying transpose. So how the matrix is converted to each and every column. This is nothing but an first column. Okay. And this is the second column. And this is the third column. Okay. What I'm doing here is I'm applying the transpose function. What this transpose function will do, each and every column will convert it to row. So 1, 4, 10 and 2, 5, 11 as well as 3, 6 and 12. Okay. So what it is going to do, this is the original matrix. So each and every column is going to convert it to row. So this is known as a transpose function. So theoretically we will just prove that, but in coding part the function is known as a T, capital T. So this is the variable which is holding two-dimensional array 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4, 5, 5, 7. So if I execute it, see A dot T, T is nothing but a transpose function. This 1, 4, see it changed. This column changed to row, this 2, 5 changed to row, and 3, 5 this column has changed to row, and 4, 7 is the column changed to fourth row. So if you want to find out the dimensions for it, just execute it and you'll see the changing in the dimensions also. What I'm going to do after applying before applying the transformation, it belongs to one dimension array. Sorry, it belongs to two dimension because it is holding two lists inside. So if I execute it, so it is going to two dimensions. Now what we will do, again we will find out the dimensions. We will see whether it belongs to two dimension array or not. I'm finding. I should execute this. After executing this, I'm executing the dimensions. See, again it is showing two dimension. Why? Because inside only two-dimension matrix is there. See, only one open brace is there, square bracket, here also one open brace. So we can convert the list, we can convert the matrix columns into rows and rows into columns. That is the purpose of using this transpose function. So this is another function known as an absolute. The absolute is represented with the help of A, B, S. So what is the purpose of this using A, B, S is nothing but, suppose I am passing A is equal to numpy dot ABS of -100. Suppose the values ABS of -100 is nothing but, what is the absolute position of -100 is nothing but 100. Suppose if I pass absolute values, this ABS is nothing but refers to absolute. Okay. Suppose ABS of, if I am passing -80, it is the output should be 80 because it is instead of collecting this minus positions, it's just collecting the even position, which means correct positions, absolute positions. Okay. Suppose if I execute it, see the output will be 100. So in the place of here 100, if I would just pass here like a best example 80, so we will see the output is nothing but 80. So if I pass here floating values, suppose is 80.0, see 80.0 it is going to print. Suppose instead of passing 0, if I pass 8 minus 80.8, I told you the minus will be removed. See 80.8. It is going to select the absolute positions. This is known as an working process of absolute here. Okay. The another function is known as an concat function. So in the name itself, we are seeing that concat function. What do you mean by concat function is, so we can add two matrices easily. Suppose if you observe here carefully, I am passing a list here, which means array here, two-dimensional array I am passing till here. See, A is equal to np dot array of two-dimensional array I am passing, and in the B also I am passing a two-dimensional array. Now what I am doing, np dot, I am passing a concat function and A comma B. I am saving everything in the C variable. I am printing the C. So what will be the output here? See, initially 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3, 4, 5, 6 belongs to A matrix, and 9, 8, 7, 6 and 6, 5, 4, 3 belongs to B matrix. Now each and everything will be combined here. These 4 array values will be combined because we are passing a concat function. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 belongs to here, this one, and the next one will be 3, 4, 5, 6. See, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next one is 9, 8, 7, 6. See, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 6, 5, 4, 3. See, 6, 5, 4, 3. This is the purpose of using concat functions. Nothing. The concat function, if you want to theoretical stuff, concat is nothing but which refers to add. Suppose if I am having here one apple is there. Suppose I am considering this is an apple. Suppose here it is, I am considering this is a mango. Okay, I want to add it. This add operation is nothing but an concat operation. So now apple and mango will become in one list. Okay, with the help of this concatenation function. Okay, so the next function will be, so where we can use this concat function is when we are dealing with the pandas and when we are dealing with the machine learning. You will have a clear idea how we can operate the data with the help of this concat functions. Okay, don't worry. Now this is the best example. Suppose in my system there is a numpy and I want to print out the version here. How can we print out the version of the numpy? Just to type, first of all, import numpy in your system. Importing numpy has np, and if you want to find out the which version you are following, just type np dot, because we are taking as an np each and every whatever the libraries inside the numpy I am collecting with a variable known as an np. Now I want to access the version, np dot, just pass version here, then you are going to see the version type. See here, np dot version. This is the command to print the version. If I want to see, if I execute it, see my version is 1.16.5. okay, so if you want to find out the memory sizes, so how to find the memory size of an array, how we can find out the memory size? Before going to the memory size, I will tell you one brief explanation. So suppose if I am passing a is equal to 1, I told you this one is nothing but an integer data type. So integer is the data type which occupies 4 bytes of memory. Okay, 4 bytes of memory it is going to occupy in the memory. Suppose I am considering this is the memory. Okay, suppose I am considering this is the memory. You need to understand one thing. 4 bytes is means what? 1 bit is equal, sorry, 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. Okay, we are having 4 bytes. So 8 into 4 is equal to 32 bits of memory will be occupied in the memory size. Okay, 32 bits will be occupied in our local system. Okay, here in this 32 bit, this one value will be saved. How it is going to save? Suppose there is only one value. You all know the computer system works with the help of zeros and ones. Suppose what I am having a memory. I told you if integer value I am passing a is equal to 1, it is going to occupy 4 bytes of memory. I told you for 1 bit is 8 bits is equal to 1 byte, but here we are having 4 bytes. So 8 into 4 is nothing but 32. So the data in the local disk it will divide into different parts like 32 bits it will be selected, and this one value will be here replaced here like 0 0 0 0 0 0. Somewhere it will be 1 and 0 0 0 like that. So this is known as a binary formation. Why it is known as a binary formation? Because the entire OS system works with the help of binary, zeros and ones only. You all know everything here. Okay, this is just to have just clear explanations of the memory sizes inside the. Suppose if I am passing as, if you see here, np.0 of 4, 4 I am passing here. So 4, 4, you know everyone, 4 rows will be selected and 4 columns will be selected, and each and every value inside the array will be represented with the help of zeros only. So what I am going to do here is, I want to find out the size here first of all. So how can I find out the size? See here, I'm saving everything in a variable n, and what I'm doing here is n size, n dot size. What do you mean by n dot size? Into n dot item size. This is the perfect command. We are going to find out the size of an array, and we are going to multiply with the help of the memory sizes. If you execute it, see, 128 bytes of memory this particular array is going to handle. Okay, 128 bytes. What do you mean by this percentile d symbol? Percentile d symbol refers to nothing but, suppose this percentile d symbol refers to integer, and percentile s refers to string, and percentile f refers to float. Okay, that's why we are going to access the integer values. That's why what I am doing, I am passing percentile d here. Okay, see, I am going to access the integer value, so that's why I passed 128. Okay, see, these are one of the most important functions. What I am doing here is I am importing numpy np dot I of 4, 4 I passed. I will tell you what is the purpose of using I function. Okay, suppose, wait 1 minute. Okay, suppose now the I function. So I told you I function most important. This is a small logic will be there. See here, suppose if I am passing np dot I of 4, 4. Suppose here np dot zeros of 4, 4 I pass. What will be the output for this command? 4 rows will be selected and 4 columns will be selected. Yes or no? 4 rows will be selected and 4 columns will be selected. Okay. Now what is my question is, this and all you know, ones, zeros, everything. My question is for this I is nothing but the index positions. Okay, sorry, not the index positions. It refers to the identity matrix. Okay, suppose, what do you mean by identity matrix? I will write it here. What do you mean by identity matrix here? First of all, we need to understand identity matrix. So I think you all know about the identity matrix. Identity matrix is nothing but, suppose if I am opening 2 into 2 array, suppose if I am opening 2 into 2 array, so 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, 2 rows are there, 2 columns are there. This is known as an identity matrix. Okay, so if I pass 3 into 3, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1. It belongs to because 3 rows are there and 3 columns. 3 rows are there, 3 columns are there. The diagonal is completely filled with the value 1. So for this purpose, for finding out the identity matrix, we are going to use I function. Okay, I is nothing but an identity. I am going to write here. I means identity. Okay, see, on the index positions it is going to print I. Suppose instead of passing here 4, if I pass 5, what will happen? 5 rows will be selected, 5 columns will be selected, and each and every diagonal value will be represented with the help of, see, 1. This is the purpose of using I function. So here, do you all know everything? I am just passing the range function. I am reshaping it. 3 cubes has been selected, and 3 rows will be selected, and 3 columns will be selected. Yesterday we have discussed about this. Okay, these are commands. Okay, this is the doubt now that you got. I told you already. Okay, I am executing it. See here what it is going to do. So the first one is, I told you about the cube structures. 3 cubes has been selected. This is the first cube, this is second cube, and this is the third cube. And the second parameter is for the rows. See here, 3 rows has been selected for each and every cube, and this is nothing but belongs to columns. How many columns are there? 3 columns are there. Okay, this is how we will find out the different type of functions in the NumPy. Okay, so there are different some remaining functions also. We will discuss it later. Okay, there is no issue. Okay,